All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Sarabjit Kaur and with me is Saira Mujtaba. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails services of doctors during COVID pandemic, says government committed to safety and security of the doctors. Prime Minister lauds E-Sanjeevani for providing health benefits to people of remote areas during the pandemic, says people's lives have been transformed tremendously with Digital India in the last 6 years. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 34 crore mark. National COVID recovery rate improves further to 96.97%. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari says India will be an example to the world for e-vehicles, asserts priority of the government is to fight pollution. Indian Navy's athlete MP Jabir qualifies for Tokyo Olympics in 400-meter hurdles. He would be the first Indian male to participate in the 400-meter hurdles in Olympics. In an all-Indian face-off in Wimbledon tennis, pair of Sania Mirza and Rohan Bopanna will lock horns with duo of Ankita Raina and Ramkumar Ramanathan in the first round of mixed doubles. And in Euro Cup football, quarter-final fixtures begin tonight. Spain to face Switzerland while Belgium to take on Italy in 2 encounters. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is going on, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also to help others to get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. Now the news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has hailed the services of doctors during COVID pandemic. He appreciated the doctors and medical fraternity's role in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic. The Prime Minister said doctors, healthcare and frontline workers have saved many lives during the pandemic. The Prime Minister was addressing the doctors on National Doctors' Day yesterday. Mr. Modi paid tribute to the doctors who lost their lives during the COVID-19 pandemic. He thanked the doctors on behalf of 130 crore Indians for their services during the pandemic.
आज जब देश कोरोना से इतनी बड़ी जंग लड़ रहा है तो डॉक्टर्स ने दिन रात मेहनत करके लाखों लोगों का जीवन बचाया है। ये पुण्य कार्य करते हुए देश के कई डॉक्टर्स ने अपना जीवन भी न्यौछावर कर दिया। मैं जीवन आहूत करने वाले इन सभी डॉक्टर्स को अपनी विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं और परिवार के प्रति अपनी संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं।
The Prime Minister said the government is committed to the safety and security of the doctors. He said India's position is better than several developed countries in terms of per million death and infection rate during the pandemic. He said doctors are dealing with the challenges posed by the mutant coronavirus through their experiences and suggesting innovative measures.
कोरोना से लड़ाई में जितनी चुनौतियां आई, हमारे वैज्ञानिकों, डॉक्टर्स ने उतने ही समाधान तलाशे, प्रभावी दवाइयां बनाई। आज हमारे डॉक्टर्स ही कोरोना के प्रोटोकॉल्स बना रहे हैं, उन्हें लागू करवाने में मदद कर रहे हैं। ये वायरस नया है, इसमें नए नए म्यूटेशंस भी हो रहे हैं, लेकिन हमारे डॉक्टर्स की नॉलेज, उनके एक्सपीरियंस, उनके अनुभव वायरस के इन खतरों और चैलेंजेस का मिलकर मुकाबला कर रहे हैं।
The Prime Minister said that the government is making efforts to create robust medical infrastructure in the country. He said over 2 lakh crore rupees have been allocated in this year's budget for creating modern medical infrastructure. The Prime Minister called upon the doctors to inspire people to get vaccinated and adopt COVID-appropriate behavior. He commended the medical fraternity for spreading awareness about yoga. He praised the doctors for doing evidence-based studies on the benefits of yoga for dealing with post-COVID complications. He also suggested that studies on yoga could be published in international journals. Stressing on the importance of documentation of experiences of doctors, Mr. Modi has said symptoms of the patients, treatment plan and responses must be documented. He said COVID pandemic can be a good starting point for this exercise. Government's flagship program, Digital India, completed 6 years yesterday. Addressing the function on the occasion, the Prime Minister said that in the last 6 years, people's lives have been transformed drastically with Digital India. The Prime Minister said Digital India has played a pivotal role in providing healthcare facilities in different parts of the country as platforms developed for online education to medicine is benefiting crores of Indians.
मिनिमम गवर्नमेंट मैक्सिमम गवर्नेंस के सिद्धांतों पर चलते हुए सरकार और जनता के बीच, सिस्टम और सुविधाओं के बीच, समस्याओं और सर्विस के बीच गैप कम करना, इनके बीच की मुश्किलें खत्म करना और जन सामान्य की सुविधा बढ़ाना ये समय की मांग रहा है और इसलिए डिजिटल इंडिया सामान्य नागरिक को सुविधा और उनके एम्पावरमेंट का एक बहुत सशक्त माध्यम है.
Talking about the benefit of Digital India during COVID, the Prime Minister said people from remote areas are getting health benefits of e-Sanjeevani, especially during the pandemic.
बिहार के साथी ने मुझे बताया कि ई संजीवनी ने कैसे इस मुश्किल समय में घर बैठे ही उनकी दादी माँ के स्वास्थ्य लाभ की चिंता की. सबको स्वास्थ्य सुविधा मिले, समय पर अच्छी सुविधा मिले, ये हमारी प्राथमिकता है और इसके लिए नेशनल डिजिटल हेल्थ मिशन के तहत एक प्रभावी प्लेटफॉर्म पर भी काम चल रहा है. इस कोरोना काल में जो डिजिटल सॉल्यूशन भारत ने तैयार किए हैं वो आज पूरी दुनिया में चर्चा का भी विषय है और आकर्षण का भी विषय है. दुनिया के सबसे बड़े डिजिटल कॉन्टैक्ट ट्रेसिंग ऐप में से एक आरोग्य सेतु का कोरोना संक्रमण को रोकने में बहुत मदद मिली है. टीकाकरण के लिए भारत के कोविन ऐप में भी आज अनेकों देश दिलचस्पी दिखा रहे हैं. वो चाहते हैं उनके देश में इस योजना का लाभ मिले. वैक्सीनेशन की प्रक्रिया के लिए ऐसा मॉनिटरिंग टूल होना हमारी तकनीकी कुशलता का प्रमाण है.
The Prime Minister said the DigiLocker, a popular app, is a classic example of how effective Digital India has been. Now all important documents, including school and college documents, Aadhaar, PAN and voter ID card, can be stored easily and securely in DigiLocker. Mr. Modi said Digital India is the sadhana of Atmanirbhar Bharat and is the slogan for becoming a stronger India in the 21st century. He said with the help of Digital India, the One Nation, One Ration card is being made into a reality.
On the 4th anniversary of the introduction of GST yesterday, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that it is a matter of great satisfaction that the nation has overcome 2 waves of COVID-19 pandemic and provided stability to this new tax regime. The minister said that the enhanced revenue collection in the recent months should now be the new normal. She expressed happiness over the buoyant tax collections, which crossed 1 lakh crore rupees for 8 months in a row, with a record GST collection of 1.41 lakh crore rupees in the month of April this year. The Reserve Bank of India yesterday said that the recently announced monetary, regulatory and fiscal policy measures will help the country's economic recovery in the wake of the COVID-19 second wave. As per the 23rd issue of the Financial Stability Report released by the RBI yesterday, sustained policy support, benign financial conditions and the gathering momentum of vaccination are nurturing an uneven global recovery. It added that policy support has helped in shoring up financial positions of banks. The RBI said banks will have to reinforce their capital and liquidity positions to fortify themselves against potential balance sheet stress as they respond to credit demand in a recovering economy. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed services of doctors during COVID pandemic, says government committed to safety and security of doctors. Prime Minister lauds e-Sanjeevani for providing health benefits to people of remote areas during the pandemic. Says people's lives have been transformed tremendously with Digital India in the last 6 years. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 34 34 crore mark. National COVID recovery rate improves further to 96.97%. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari says India will be an example to the world for e-vehicles. Asserts priority of the government is to fight pollution. Indian Navy's athlete MP Jabir qualifies for Tokyo Olympics in 400-meter hurdles. He will be the first Indian male to participate in the 400-meter hurdles in Olympics. In an all-Indian face-off in Wimbledon tennis, pair of Sania Mirza and Rohan Bopanna will lock horns with duo of Ankita Raina and Ramkumar Ramanathan in first round of mixed doubles. And in Euro Cup football, quarter-final fixtures begin tonight. Spain to face Switzerland, while Belgium to take on Italy in 2 encounters. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
The Centre is disseminating awareness of national helpline numbers for the benefit of citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. The helpline number of the Health and Family Welfare Ministry is 1075. The Child Helpline number is 1098. For senior citizens of Delhi, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, the helpline number is 14567. The helpline number of the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, for psychological support is 08046110007. The Ayush COVID-19 Counselling helpline number is 14443 and MyGov WhatsApp help desk number is 9013151515.
Welcome back to the morning news. Over 34 crore vaccine doses have been administered in the country till now. Over 43,60,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. Healthcare workers have been given over 1 crore 74 lakh doses. Frontline workers over 2.7 crore doses. People in the age group 18 to 44 have received over 9.63 crore doses, while people in the age group 45 to 59 over 10.6 crore doses, and people over 60 years have been administered 9.26 crore doses. The Union Health Ministry in a statement said the country has reported 48,786 new cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. A total of 61,588 patients also recovered from the infection during the last 24 hours. The country has registered further improvement in the recovery rate, which has now improved to 96.97%.
A total of 93 new cases of coronavirus infection were reported in the national capital in the last 24 hours. The Delhi government said during the same period, 111 people recovered and 4 deaths were also reported in the city. A total of over 1,46,000 beneficiaries were inoculated for COVID-19 in the last 24 hours in Delhi. With this, over 79 lakh beneficiaries have been vaccinated so far. Maharashtra yesterday reported 9,195 new COVID cases and 8,634 recoveries. 252 deaths were also reported. The state's recovery rate stands at 96.01%, while the case fatality rate is 2.01%. The state has so far conducted 4.18 crore tests, and the positivity rate stands at 14.5%. Mumbai reported 656 new cases of COVID-19, 489 recoveries and 21 deaths yesterday.
Gujarat recorded 84 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday. According to the State Health Department, 300 patients recovered during the last 24 hours and were discharged from the hospitals. More details from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
Total 8,10,751 patients have been recovered from COVID-19 in Gujarat till now. The recovery rate further improved and reached up to 98.44%. Maximum 18 new cases of COVID-19 reported from Ahmedabad, while Surat recorded 11 new cases. 3 patients lost their lives due to COVID-19 yesterday. Gujarat has now 2,794 active cases at present, out of which 11 patients are on ventilators. Meanwhile, 2,84,791 persons have been vaccinated in the state yesterday. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
Tamil Nadu reported 4,481 new COVID cases and 5,044 recoveries yesterday. A total of 102 COVID-related deaths were also reported. Over 1,63,000 samples were tested through RT-PCR in the last 24 hours. Coimbatore district continued to top the list of fresh COVID cases with 498 people testing positive.
Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari has said that India will be an example to the world as far as e-vehicles are concerned, and the priority of the government is to fight pollution. Addressing the India Global Forum 2021 yesterday, the minister said Indian research is working aggressively towards pursuing green hydrogen. Mr. Gadkari said the government is trying its best to convert all the construction material to greener options. The minister said encouraging response is being received from the public on the adoption of electric vehicles, and he himself uses an electric car, and many of the ministers are also using the same. Mr. Gadkari said futuristic development is very important. He said two-wheelers and auto rickshaws are very popular, and through the FAME 2 government scheme, there are many incentives on offer for them to convert to electric. The minister said in the road sector there are great opportunities for the FDI. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has said that during the 3-day G20 foreign ministers meeting in Italy, several issues were addressed including multilateralism and governance, Africa, food security and humanitarian logistics. In a tweet yesterday, Dr. Jaishankar informed that he held bilateral meetings with 14 ministers and 5 heads of international organizations.
A global corporate tax rate of at least 15% was agreed upon by 130 countries. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, said global companies including US behemoths, Google, Amazon, Facebook and Apple will be taxed at a rate of at least 15% once the deal is implemented. In a statement, OECD said the framework updates key elements of the century-old international tax system, which is no longer fit for purpose in a globalized and digitized 21st century economy, it added. The countries also agreed on a fairer distribution of profits and taxing rights with respect to multinationals, including digital giants such as Amazon and Google. It would reallocate some taxing rights over multinationals from their home countries to the markets where they have business activities and earn profits, regardless of whether firms have a physical presence there. The formal agreement follows an endorsement by a group of wealthy nations, the G7, last month at a meeting in Britain. The negotiations now move to a meeting of the G20 group of developed and emerging economies on 9th of this month at Venice in Italy.
A wildfire has destroyed 90% of a village that recorded Canada's highest ever temperature. The fire had caused extensive damage to Lytton in British Columbia and to surrounding critical infrastructure. The village this week recorded the country's highest ever temperature of 49.6 degrees Celsius. Abnormally high temperatures have been recorded in swathes of North America too. Temperatures have been easing in coastal areas of Canada, but there is not much respite for inland regions. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
Our special program, Olympics Quiz with AIR News, got off to a flying start yesterday with enthusiastic response from the listeners. Citizens from all over the country took part in the quiz and sent their replies.
In the run-up to the Tokyo Olympics, the News Services Division of All India Radio in its Sports Scan program is broadcasting every day Olympics Quiz with AIR News. Olympics Quiz, Akashvani Samachar ke saath in Hindi. Every day, a question related to Olympics will be asked at the beginning and closing of the program. To participate in this program, listeners can send the replies by email on airsportscan@gmail.com. The first correct answer received through email will be adjudged the winner of the quiz. The name of the winner will be announced in SportsScan program the next day. It will also be flashed on AIR Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. The Sports Authority of India will provide India team jersey to the winner. So tune in to the SportsScan program every day at 7:20 p.m. on FM Gold and on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official.
Indian Navy's ace athlete MP Jabir qualified for the Tokyo Olympics in 400-meter hurdles yesterday after he clocked 49.78 seconds to win gold at the recently concluded Interstate Athletics Championships in Patiala. Jabir qualified through the world ranking quota where there are 14 spots available. The 25-year-old sailor hails from Malappuram in Kerala. He is currently ranked 34th in the World Athletics Road to Olympics rankings where 40 athletes qualify. When he competes in the Tokyo Olympics, Jabir would be the first Indian male athlete to participate in the 400-meter hurdles in Olympics. The legendary athlete P.T. Usha from Kerala competed in the 400-meter hurdles at the Los Angeles Olympics. That makes Jabir the second from the state of Kerala to compete in the same event in the Olympics. And with just 22 days to go for the Tokyo Olympic Games, AIR today takes a look at the career graph of Aditi Ashok, who is considered one of the best female golfers in India and has qualified for her second Olympic Games.
Born on March 29, 1998 in Bengaluru, Karnataka, Aditi first expressed her interest in golf at the young age of 5, a time when there were only 3 golf courses in her city. She asked her father to take her to the golf course, and since then she never looked back. At the age of just 13, she won her first state-level tournament, the Karnataka Junior and 2011 South Indian Junior Championships. Aditi also held the junior and senior titles in 2014. She became the only Indian golfer to compete in the 2013 Asian Youth Games, the 2014 Youth Olympics, and the 2014 Asian Games. Her turning point came when she won the Ladies British Amateur Stroke Play Championship in 2015. Aditi finally turned pro on 1st January 2016 and created history when she became the first Indian woman to qualify for the Rio Olympics just at the age of 18. In 2017, she became the first LPGA player from India and stood 8th in the Rookie of the Year rankings. Aditi will be in Tokyo along with her male counterparts Anirban Lahiri and Udhyan Mane. Sports Desk, AIR News.
In Wimbledon tennis, Indian players Sania Mirza and Ankita Rana will compete against each other in the mixed doubles today. Sania will pair up with Rohan Bopanna, while Ankita will join hands with Ramkumar Ramanathan to compete in the first round of mixed doubles. Yesterday, Sania made a winning return to the tournament as she and her American partner, Bethany Matek-Sands, advanced to the second round of women's doubles. The pair started their latest campaign by stunning the 6-seeded American-Chile duo of Desiree Krawczyk and Alexa Guarache. However, Indian pair of Rohan Bopanna and Divid Sharan crashed out of the grass-court Grand Slam competition in the first round. Meanwhile, 8-time champion Roger Federer, world number 2 Daniil Medvedev and 4-seeded Alexander Zverev stormed into the third round after beating their respective opponents in the men's singles. Swiss legend Federer got the better of Richard Gasquet of France, while Russian Medvedev won 6-4, 6-1, 6-2 against Spanish teenager Carlos Alcaraz, while German Zverev overcame American Tennis Sandgren. Earlier, unseeded Japanese Kei Nishikori's campaign ended after losing to Jordan Thompson of Australia. 18-seed Grigor Dimitrov of Bulgaria too was dumped to the wayside by unseeded Alexander Bublik of Kazakhstan. Roberto Bautista Agut of Spain advanced after winning a nerve-jingling 5-setter against Miomir Kecmanovic of Serbia. In the women's singles, Poland's Magda Linette caused the biggest upset so far as she knocked out third seed Elina Svitolina of Ukraine in the second round. World number 1 Ashley Barty of Australia outsmarted Anna Blinkova of Russia to enter the third round. Ashley will next take on Katerina Siniakova of the Czech Republic, who defeated American Coco Vandeweghe.
In the Euro Cup football, battle lines have been drawn for the quarter-final matches tonight. Three-time European champion Spain will clash with Switzerland in the first encounter, while Belgium will take on Italy in the second match later tonight. The Czech Republic will lock horns with Denmark in the third quarter-final, and England will take on Ukraine in the fourth quarter-final tomorrow. And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for the day. The national capital Delhi will have thunderstorm with rain. The minimum temperature was 31 degrees and the maximum may go up to 41 degrees Celsius. Mumbai, the minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius while the maximum is expected to be around 32 degrees. Chennai will see generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperatures will vary between 27 and 37 degrees Celsius. Kolkata, the minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius and the maximum will go up to 33 degrees. Jammu, the minimum temperature was 28 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 41 degrees. Srinagar will see a partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain. The temperatures will hover between 18 and 30 degrees Celsius. Leh, the minimum and maximum temperatures will be between 9 and 27 degrees Celsius. Gilgit, the temperatures will hover between 16 and 35 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad, the minimum temperature was 22 degrees and the maximum will be around 38 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the minimum temperature was 22 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 33 degrees. In Chandigarh, the minimum temperature was 30 degrees and the maximum will be around 41 degrees. In Lucknow, there will be one or two spells of rain or thunder showers. Patna will see a partly cloudy sky. Jaipur, the minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 39 degrees. In Guwahati, the minimum temperature was 24 degrees Celsius while the maximum will go up to 29 degrees. Itanagar will also have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Imphal, Shillong and Aizawl will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Kohima will have generally cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was 17 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 26 degrees. Agartala, the minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 31 degrees. Gangtok, the minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 20 degrees. In Panjim, the temperatures will hover between 24 and 30 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Many newspapers today lead with RBI's Financial Stability Report. With banks better fortified with capital, quoting RBI report, the Business Standard leads with bad debts to rise but banks are prepared. Reporting of a major diplomatic victory, India forces 9 EU nations to OK Covishield. Travel curbs lifted, green pass given day after India's strong stand, writes the Pioneer. With all set to make 50 million doses between August and December, Zydus Cadila seeks nod for its vaccine, is another lead in the Financial Express. Commenting on the increased challenges before the armed forces, the Asian Age headlines, ready to counter threat of drones, pledges Army Chief. Issuing a slew of directions on the contentious issue of feeding stray dogs, HC gives a pat on the back for stray dogs. They have a right to food and water, writes the Hindu. And finally, the Asian Age has a nostalgic picture of the statue of Princess Diana being unveiled by her sons on her 60th birthday.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails services of doctors during COVID pandemic, says government committed to safety and security of the doctors. Prime Minister lauds E-Sanjeevani for providing health benefits to people of remote areas during the pandemic, says people's lives have been transformed tremendously with Digital India in the last 6 years. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 34 crore mark. National COVID recovery rate improves further to 96.97%. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari says India will be an example to the world for e-vehicles, asserts priority of the government is to fight pollution. Indian Navy's athlete MP Jabir qualifies for Tokyo Olympics in 400-meter hurdles. In an all-Indian face-off in Wimbledon tennis, pair of Sania Mirza and Rohan Bopanna will lock horns with duo of Ankita Raina and Ramkumar Ramanathan in the first round of mixed doubles. And in Euro Cup football, quarter-final fixtures begin tonight. Spain to face Switzerland while Belgium to take on Italy in 2 encounters. And with that we end the morning news. Have a nice day.